Haven't seen
Yeah,
the
there
clock
we go.
count,
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Are we live there? Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us indeed on playback. We have two guests on at the moment, and we will very soon be joined by Claire Devaney, who's out and about. She's just got a bit delayed, but she will be on. With me is our man, the Irishman in Glasgow, Mike Reedy, and member and extraordinaire and frequent contributor to this show via text normally, but we said we'd have him on again. Dara Weston, how the hell are you? Are you well?
I'm good. I'm only funny
Excellent.
with typing, though. I'm not funny when I'm talking. So
Sure, look,
that's the risk you take having me live.
Good evening,
well, look,
to you, Dara, again, and welcome back.
How are you,
Have you
Mike?
your
Are you
fence
well
ready,
yourself?
Mike?
Absolutely.
Mike, how are you doing? Are you well? Are you cold or
Yeah,
you
I'm
warm?
good, man. I'm good.
You got your warm
Yeah, I
what do you
don't
call
have
it,
any
hot blanket on
any issues with the -8 tonight.
Oh, do you not always? Okay, fair enough. Right, folks, it's the usual armchair analysis. Whatever news stories before we get to the games. The stories that were dominating the social media sphere and indeed our own group. Dara, I'll go to you first on this, seeing as you are our guest. The one thing that was dominating, the Munster supporter who reached out and grabbed the jersey of the Bayonne player, I believe he got a 2-year ban from Thomond and Musgrave Park. A ridiculous action on behalf of that supporter, but I would safely say it was probably drinking fueled. But do you think the ban was long enough, 2 years from Musgrave and Thomond Park for his actions?
I mean, I think it should be a bit more than 2 years. I mean, 5-6 years. Is 2 years enough a deterrent, really? Because there's a fine line between grabbing somebody or hitting somebody. I suppose we're quite fortunate in rugby when you think that the nearest we've had to this, certainly in Irish circles, but I think in Europe, was Trevor Brennan when he jumped into the crowd up in Ravenhill, and he got a lifetime ban from playing. Now he preempted that by retiring before the ban was announced. But I was looking online there to see earlier, and I couldn't see it. I think there was something that he was banned from playing rugby, but I'm not sure was he banned from coaching because he was hoping to transition into some coaching in Toulouse. But I don't think he's ever gotten involved in coaching. But I don't know. It seems a bit banning somebody for 2 years from. Essentially, what they've said is it sounds like they're just banning from home games. Now, they also have an element control over away games as well, that they should ensure that he doesn't get to any away games. He shouldn't be able to get a ticket to go to a Munster game in the Aviva if they happen to be lucky enough to play Leinster. I'd like to see something a bit more severe because this kind of can carry on, after what we saw in Dublin. I mean, we just need to stamp out any kind of this carry on in rugby. It's always been a game where the violence is on the pitch and, there's a bit of verbals off the pitch, but there's, never been anything more than that. And then at the final whistle, the violence on the pitch ends and the verbal off the pitch ends. Yeah. So I think it's
I was just thinking, Dara, sorry, I'll come to you down just 1 sec, Mike. I was just thinking if there was any malicious intent in that fan. I know I'm stressing it a bit, but if there's any malicious intent in that fan, he could have done some damage if he was holding a bottle or a knife.
What was the name of your woman, the tennis player who got stabbed in the back in Wimbledon?
Monica Seles.
Monica Seles, yeah.
Monica Seles.
I mean, it's even if he had a penknife or something, or if the player had turned around and decked him, and would he have taken action against him, or how would the player be dealt with by World Rugby or the IRB? So it's as you say, he was only grabbing a jersey, but there's a fine line between that and having something in his hand.
Yeah, true. Okay, Mike Reedy, what did you think of all that debacle?
Well, there's no grey areas in this for me anyway. A lifetime ban, I think, should have followed from attending any rugby game ever. I think the message had to be sent out that is not acceptable ever, anytime. It never has been. Rugby has always has always been a game where supporters never get involved in anything like that. I have to be honest. I think I don't know the full circumstances now, and it might be something and nothing, but it's something. It's something that cannot ever happen at a rugby game. And we do take rugby supporters, even take the moral high ground, and always say, you know, oh, we wouldn't be involved. Like Dara just said, the violence is always on the pitch amongst the players. There's no violence ever amongst supporters or involving supporters at a game. I think he should have been. I don't think he should ever be allowed to attend the rugby game again. Yeah, maybe that's a draconian measure now, but you know something, you need to send out a message. As far as I'm concerned, anyway.
So you would go for a lifetime ban? You go for a lifetime ban, Mike.
I want to tell a wee story. I was at a game. I'm sure it was 1981 Ireland at Lansdowne Road.
Go on.
And do you remember the old Lansdowne Road? They had
I was 10.
The leaning rails around the pitch.
Yeah.
And I used to be, and I was standing.
Of course I do.
I think I was probably at that stage reaching up to this leaning rail, and a guy called Marcus Rose he'd made his debut at full back for England that day, but he ran up the wing from their own half with the ball, and I actually climbed underneath the leaning rail with the intention of tackling him, but he went on to score a try, and I thought he'd have probably taken me with him over the line anyway, but no, it's
did you get anywhere near him?
No, I never went in. I shattered. I just turned around and went back under the lane again, like a good boy. But
no, say right. Okay.
I just think it's the wrong message. I think Munster should have taken that action. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I think the message.
No, I see your point there, Mike. I think go for the severe and then argue it down, like the players do in rugby.
Absolutely,
you get your ban and then you look for mitigation and you argue it down. I mean, you'd probably at least get a season's ban if you streaked in a match.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so swinging out a player is only twice as bad as streaking.
You know,
yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't agree with that.
I agree. I think that's a great point. Dara.
There's a comment there, Dara and Mike. If the player had struck the fan, we'd be crying for a life ban. So why dilute the punishment? Yeah, that's a fair point. I think we've all kind of said that.
Yeah,
I just think what Dara just
Gregor Galway. Yeah, I know. Sorry, hold on one sec, Mike. Gregor Galway. Yes, I know Tom knew the player's career would have been over if he hadn't stopped him, all because of that fan. I think that's Tom O'Hearn actually stepped in to stop that.
I think your man went to take a swing back at the fan, and Tom O'Hearn pulled him back.
Yeah.
I just think what Dara just said is very important. If they had given him, just dish out a lifetime ban and then mitigate it down if that's necessary, if that's the necessary action to be taken. But send out the message by banning somebody for life. You're saying it's totally unacceptable. You know what's gonna follow if you do get involved in something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the guy might think, well, I'm only going to get 2 years now, and that's exactly, they've set a precedent now. So what happens if somebody else does something fucking daft?
How just before we finish up on this, because it's getting too much airtime at the moment. I know there's more stuff I want to go through. How do they actually police that? What's is it facial recognition they're relying on? What if he grows a beard, shaves his head, a mate buys him a ticket? How do they police that?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult in any ban situation, to be honest with you, regarding supporters. It's very difficult. Unless you have to produce identification to obtain a ticket.
Yeah.
You're, and somebody else can get you a ticket. Like, there's no names on tickets. There's nothing like that. So,
yeah.
You're kind of policing it by hoping that he won't turn up or something like that. Or maybe somebody that knows him is going to say, you can't fucking go, you're banned.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Right, enough about that. The next one, there's been a couple of topics that have kind of got a lot of attention over the past week. Eddie Jones to Japan. Dara, no fucking big surprise there. He's a laughing stock at this moment.
I mean, it's I'm surprised Japan still want him. Whatever rush of blood to the head they had during the World Cup, The amount of shite on he's done since the World Cup, I'm surprised Japan still want him. But they were starting to get good, so it's a shame they're getting Eddie now because he'll probably drag them back down again. But that's where the money is. So as Peter Martin would say, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, as James Hook, or not James Hook, George Hook said on a podcast he was on, and I'm quoting George Hook, folks. These are not my words.
I saw it. Funny.
Did you see it? He said Eddie Jones will do more damage to Japan than the atomic bomb. There you go. George Hook's words, not mine. So don't fucking come at me. I'm just quoting him. Mike, Eddie Jones to Japan.
I'm shocked, to be honest with you. I think.
Why are you shocked?
I'm glad Matt Boland isn't on here because Matt loves him. Lads, he's poisonous. He's absolutely poisonous. Now, he's done some good in rugby, but very little in recent times. And he comes in. Listen, he done good in Japan whenever he was there 6 years ago.
2018, was it?
He was there at the 2015 World Cup when they beat South Africa in England. But he sends out all the wrong messages. It's all like it's all about him, isn't it? He's a narcissist, and he thinks he's more important than any team or any players or anybody. And he's wrong. He's wrong for Japan. He was wrong for Australia, which he proved. He was wrong for England, which he eventually proved. And now he's wrong going back to Japan. If he turns Japan into a force again, I'll hold my hands up and say I was wrong, but I don't see it. I really don't see it.
I don't think there's any fear of that happening now, Mike, in fairness. Right, okay. The other one, Vinipola had his red card rescinded. The only reason I'm mentioning this is that means he is free to play against Connacht this weekend in round 2 of the championship. Dara, how important is Vinipola to Saracens?
I don't think he's as important as he was 2 seasons ago or even a season ago.
How are you, Claire?
Afternoon, evening.
Evening, Claire. I think he's more of an old warhorse now than a powerful presence. But look, certainly it'll help them. Whether he starts or he's on the bench.
Did you see his red card incident, Darryl?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, it looked fairly bad. Excuse me. But when you play it back in slow motion, it wasn't as bad. So I think that's why it looked like he dived in, no arms, head straight ahead, straight off his feet in the ruck.
He wouldn't be known for that, like.
No, Mike. Billy Vinipola.
I didn't see the incident first and foremost. I don't know what it was, and I haven't seen him play for Saracens. I haven't seen Saracens play this season, so I can't say whether he's making any contribution. But as far as his England career is concerned, it should be over. He's dreadful. He's slow. He's cumbersome. He brought nothing to England, certainly in the World Cup anyway. In fact, he took from him, if anything. And he's not the force. I don't think he was ever the force that the English media painted him up to. He was a decent player.
Yeah, he was a line breaker in his day. Yeah, he was, in fairness.
But I don't know. No, I mean, I could be wrong again, but I can't see him. I think they must be stuck.
Okay. Claire, welcome. Did you get your stuff? Did you get your hats and all that sort of good stuff?
Hats, thank you, Jeff.
Excellent, well done. Just to recap, we haven't spoken about any games yet, Claire. We just mentioned the 2-year ban that Munster fan got. Was 2 years enough?
Was it? I just now knew that you were dealing with it. I didn't hear what the ban was. He's lucky he didn't get knocked out by your man. In fairness, your man did, and he's blessed. Like, shouldn't be grabbing players. Definitely not.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. And Eddie Jones to Japan. No huge fucking surprise there.
Again, taking your ex back. Taking your ex back and expecting something different.
Fair enough. Grand job. And when you just joined us, we were talking about Vinipola's red card has been rescinded. And the reason I'm mentioning that...
I seen that wasn't a red card. It wasn't a red card. I watched that game. It wasn't a red card. I thought it was very harsh when I seen the red card.
Okay. I think it looked worse than it actually was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I mentioned that was because he's free to play now for Saracens against Connacht at the weekend. I was just saying how important is Vinopola to Saracens now. He's not really.
He's not really. He's a bit past. He's a bit past the sell by date.
Yeah, like myself. Right now, did I just get an echo there from somewhere? No, didn't. Sorry, I just thought I heard an echo there. Right, Claire, because you've just joined us, and the next topic I wanted to talk about, because this got some traction in the group. Look, we've spoken about this before, and it'll keep raising its head until the feckin' Six Nations is over. But it's just current because someone brought it up in the group. The number 10 issue for Ireland for the Six Nations. I know it's December. Although no, it's 6 weeks to start, I think, or something like that. Maybe less. Crowley, Ross, and Frawley. What do you think? Does Prendergast get a sniff, or what do you reckon?
I don't know if Ross will be back. Crowley is very good, and Froggy should be 10. Froggy should be being played as a 10. We discuss this every single time we talk about Froggy. He should be played as a 10. He is a 10. I know he's a utility back, but that's the last 2 weeks on the trot. He got Leinster out of a hole. He is a 10.
Right. Do you think
Jack Crowley?
Go on.
Sorry, that's me. The dog's trying to sneak in here beside me. Do I think he's a better 10 than who?
No, I was going to ask you. Do you think Frawley is possibly overtaking Ross?
My camera's gone. You're got.
No,
we can see you.
No.
I can't. Hold on. My camera's gone.
We can hear you. Okay, we can hear you. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Go on.
I can't hear. I can't hear you. But I didn't hear the question, Peter.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go on, let go.
No, I was just asking. Do you think Frawley is slowly overtaking Ross?
Yes, Froggy is. Not slowly. Not slowly. He's steaming past him.
Right. Okay. Mike Reedy, this whole 10 issue. Crowley, Ross.
As far as I'm concerned, Frawley is the man for Leinster now. I mean, I'm not a Leinster supporter but I'm an Ireland supporter, and I think first and foremost, Frawley should have started against Connacht to get him ready for the game at the weekend against La Rochelle. I don't think either of the Burns are good enough to be playing at 10 for Leinster. That's my personal opinion. Now, I have nothing against either of the boys. They're decent enough players. And funny enough, Harry Byrne was actually probably having his best game at 10 for Leinster until he got injured last weekend.
Yeah,
and
true, I'd agree with that.
That being said, Frawley is definitely he should definitely be starting now as 10 for Leinster, and probably to be the backup to Crowley come the Six Nations. Crowley probably has the shirt now. As regards the young boy, he's still a bit raw and he's still to fill out a bit, but wouldn't be any harm to have him on the bench in a game and give him a bit of game time, because I think he is the real deal without a doubt. He's just so comfortable. He doesn't get flustered, and just to have him in playing with better players, he should give him some game time at Leinster. Next with Frawley. Like, not maybe in the Heineken Cup just yet, but like in the URC, I'd have him in playing, and he's played some game. He's got some game time already.
He has, yeah.
But I have to be honest. I think Ross Byrne is going to be out. Won't be playing the Six Nations anyway. I think he's injured, and Harry hasn't really been in the Ireland setup much. So I think Frawley is the next man in line, definitely.
Okay, Dara Weston.
I think Frawley, and this is part of the problem with the diversity Leinster have, and the kind of embarrassment of riches that we have in some positions. So everybody wants to see Sam play because he's great. He's a young player. He's really good. But then I think Frawley needs a good string of games to actually, where he's starting, to just get his stride. He had a great game at the weekend when he came on. But I think to get into the Irish shirt, I think he needs starting, be starting from now till Christmas, now till January, February. And that's going to be the issue, I think, because he's are they going to bring Sam on as well to give him a bit of experience? Whereas Crowley be playing every match, so I think we're kind of trying to juggle two potential really good tens. Well, they are very good tens, but potential future Ireland tens.
Yeah. There's just a comment there previous to the one that's on the screen. Crowley, Defo, and Frawley needs to be given 6 or 8 games of a run at 10. He's some unit. That's what you were talking about there, Dara and Mike and Claire. The one that's on the screen, folks, Sexton was one of the greatest, but played the last 2 or 3 seasons without any competition in the squad. Pick someone and stand by them for at least a game or 2. This musical choir shit will ruin a club and country. Yeah, that's a good point.
But you have to realize for the past 20 odd years, we have had 2, 3 nailed on 10s.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We've never had it's been our dominant position for so many years. Now it's kind of like, what do we do? What do we do?
Oh, I think we're going to be okay. I honestly do. I think these lads will make their own way and they'll be fine. I mean,
we just have to stop calling them the next Raj or the next Sexton.
Yeah.
They're not the next Raj.
They'll be their own.
Yeah. In the same way, neither of them are the next Humphreys.
They're Jack, they're Sam, they're Ross, they're Harry, they're Kieran.
Yeah.
That's who they are. And stop nailing it to this is where you have to be.
Yeah.
They're young lads. Like,
how old is Frawley?
Frawley, I'd say he's mid-20s, is he? I don't know.
3 or 4, yeah.
23, I think it's 23, 24, yeah.
Okay, now, folks, before we move on, there's one thing which I completely forgot about because it's on a different page in my notes. This is going to be interesting in either a good or a very bad way. Last Friday, Dara, I'll come to you first on this. Last Friday in the London's Royal Courts of Justice, lawyers and solicitors walked in to present their case on behalf of 295 rugby players, taking a case against World Rugby Limited, the Welsh Rugby Union, and the RFU for head injuries sustained over the course of their career, neglect, etc., etc. I'm trying to form a question around this. I mean, obviously, it's a horrendous thing for anyone to be suffering from head injuries as a result of playing, rugby as their career, as their job. This could have huge implications for the sport, both financially and from a safety aspect. I suppose it's not really a question, but if you were to comment on this whole thing, what would you say about all this?
I think, what's happened in the past, there wasn't the knowledge, there wasn't the awareness around impact and protocols and resting, etc. And, some of those players that are taking cases they were pre-professional era, so they weren't even getting paid,
Yeah.
They were doing their day jobs and getting a few quid on the side or whatever. What worries me is the fact that before the World Cup, we had the Farrell ban, and then the ban was, oh no, and they were gonna strike it down to this, and then they put it back. World Rugby seemed to have this kind of flip-flop attitude towards head injuries.
Yeah.
That they bring in these laws, but then they don't really want to enforce them. And I think it's up to World Rugby now. If they don't, it's the cat's been out of the bag about, head impacts and concussions and all that, and the damage they can lead to. So, I mean, if they can't put in place and enforce the protocols around player safety, they've no business governing the game,
Yeah.
And I think they need to stop messing about and faffing around with rules with laws and as I say, not enforcing things. It's, because whatever's happened in the past, it'll keep happening, and it won't just be professional players who will take cases. It'll be fellas at schools rugby or whatever, or a junior or club rugby taking cases as well. Because once the initial case goes through, then there's a precedent there, and the floodgates could potentially open.
Yeah, and I mean the IRFU have a couple of cases pending against them as well, and we shall watch that with interest. Claire Devaney, mid gulp.
Would you actually believe my sister bought literally for my Christmas present has bought me the book Concussed, Sports Uncomfortable Truth. She literally gave it to me this evening, so when I read it, I will tell you, because she was like, Claire, I seen this, I knew you'd like it with rugby and stuff. It's kind of like the NFL. The floodgates will. My dog keeps trying to get in.
That's quite all right. We like dogs. That's quite all right.
Dogs. The floodgates will open in 80s, 90s, early 90s. They didn't know. Now they do. Am I gone again? No. Okay. There, I'm back again. 80s, 90s, early 90s, they didn't really know. Now they do. Now they have to make the change. Now they have to, but they have to balance it. It's the fine line between stopping people getting concussions, which can like make their lives terrible, and that fine line between keeping a sport that we all love. It's that fine balancing act, which at the moment it seems to be hit and miss. Seems to be extremely hit and miss.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Mike, when I do read the book, I will let you know what it is, and then Peter will send it over to you.
Great job. I look forward to that. Oh, you owe me a book anyway. Sorry.
I do have it. I told you I'd send it to you after Christmas.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Dara. Mike, this whole lawsuit that 295 players, did I say? Yeah, 295 players are bringing against the three, the Welsh World Rugby and the English Rugby.
First of all, anybody that's ever played rugby was never under any illusion that it wasn't a dangerous game and that you didn't have potential to get a serious injury. Now, did anybody ever say to any of you guys that, by the way, you won't ever get injured, you will not? Like you take your life in your own hands when you want to a rugby.
I think what it is, I think the difference is in the fact that you're going to get injured, but a broken bone, it's the effects on your brain. It's the fact that they didn't know the effect on the brain.
Yeah, but I know. But now that they do,
I go out play rugby, and I know there is a chance. Yeah. But 20, 30 years ago, the people that were going out didn't know, because it has come on so much, the scans of the brains, that the doctors have studied it. 30 years, it's a bit like in the 60s when smoking came out. It was amazing. Now we all know if you pick up a cigarette, what it can do to you.
Exactly.
20, 30 years ago, you went out in the lash after training.
Yeah.
The Irish team would be in the Berkeley court the night before, 2 nights before an international, holding up the bar.
Yeah.
No, I remember.
We can't judge the past on today's standards, and we can't judge today on the past standards. We just have to make it different, and we have to make it better, and we have to make it safer, so that more that people play. Because I know, trying to get young people playing, it's parents do. Now my son has played for the past 12, 13 years. Kind of, if my son was 12 now coming to me saying I want to play rugby, I'd be kind of going, ooh, hold on, let's look. Whereas 12 or 13 years ago, I wasn't. It was like, oh yeah, cool, off you go, let's go. I mean,
that's the worry. You see, that's the worry for me. When you've got professional rugby players who are saying they won't allow their kids to play rugby, and that's a serious concern.
It is.
Now, Dara made a very valid point there regarding the Owen Farrell issue prior to the World Cup. For that to be mitigated down was sending out a complete wrong message, and it put World Rugby and RFU in a very serious position, really, because that's giving a lawyer evidence, or basically saying, oh, you still haven't fucking learned, you're still doing the same thing now as you were 30 years ago, so you haven't learned the lesson. So you're not making the game safer for people to play. So they've given them. That's all they need to do is take in the video of that. Some guy saying, no, he didn't. They should. The laws have got to be enforced. The laws are there to protect people and to like ensure that head injuries are kept to a minimum, and yet they're not prepared to enforce them, and they did allow stuff away during the course of the World Cup.
Mike, that's brilliant, and I agree with you, and it sounds great. By the way, Claire, just read that comment there on the screen. It's for you.
Claire, could you type that book in the comments? Yeah, I will. I'll type it in now. Give me 2 seconds.
Mike, that's all fine and well. Dara as well. I'll say to you, you could say bring in the laws and have all this stuff. There's laws there at the moment, right? But week in, week out, you see head collisions, some serious, some red cards, some yellow cards, some penalty only if they're accidental or the mitigation or whatever it may be. But week in, week out, you still see head collisions. That's with the current laws in place. So, like, you're not gonna. It's not gonna stop overnight if you bring in another feckin' law.
Oh, no.
No, it's not bringing in. It's not bringing in another law. You have just got to enforce the laws that are there, and you've got to stick to them rigidly. Now, however, there can be accidental head collisions in the sport, which we all know, but
of course,
ones that are proven, and when a referee makes a decision, that's another thing. When a referee has made the decision on the pitch, it's always been accepted that is the final decision. And why would the authorities then turn around and basically throw it back in his face? We have now had a situation where there's referees retired from the game for various different reasons, mainly abuse. But like, that's not going to help them. If the referees are thinking, well, we're not going to be supported by World Rugby or by the rugby authorities anyway. Why would we? So that's why
that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
That's why the bunker decision has kind of taken away the. Well, that's not obviously in place now since the World Cup, but I think they have to support. The referee has got to be supported 100% all the time. They don't have to get every decision right, but they still have to be supported.
No, there's another comment there. Players are safer now than any other time in the history of the game. What needs to be strengthened is the laws. That's what you're just talking about there, Mike, around foul play and stop the dilution of bans and the ability of clubs and players using barristers to circumvent our laws.
Yeah, 100%.
Someone else says there, I don't think this will ever happen. Put helmets on them.
In fairness, I'm going to say
helmets are worse.
It has
see, Dara, if you weren't on the show and I saw that comment, I'd say, I bet you that's Dara Weston.
No, he wouldn't write something fucking stupid as that.
The thing about helmets, it's been proven in the NFL that helmets have caused damage.
Yeah. Your head is moving around inside that fucking.
It's a big bucket for your head to rattle around in.
Like the ricochet effect, it's a double ricochet effect.
Right. Okay. There's all the initial thinking. I was watching a documentary about the NFL. The initial thinking about putting these helmets way back was racing car drivers, that if it protected their head, it would protect the sports people on the pitch, and obviously it didn't work. Completely different kind of collision. Anyway, right, there are all the news points that were popping up over the weekend in the group and elsewhere. The games.
Do you want to quickly mention Joe Schmidt?
Oh yeah, Joe Schmidt I forgot about him. Yeah, go on, Derek. Joe Schmidt for the Australia job. That's the rumor mill. What do you reckon?
He could be the man to undo the damage Eddie did. You know, I mean, whoever goes in there,
it could take him a year or two, Dara. It could take him a year or two to do that.
No, that's the thing. It's going to go in, and the Australians aren't great losers, and there's going to be a good bit of losing until they get themselves sorted. So it's a tough job, but I don't think Joe would be afraid of it. So he could be a very good choice for it.
No. Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, Claire, Joe Schmidt to Australia, albeit in the land of rumor.
In the land of rumor, although the land of rumor hasn't really proven wrong the past couple of times, I think he'd be good. True. I think he'd be good for building Australian rugby back. Like they have the World Cup in 2027, and it's a dying sport over there. It really and truly is a dying sport over there at this stage. What are they, 5th or 6th? Rugby union is 5th or 6th. Yeah. So hopefully, sure. Sure, even when they were advertising the 2023, I actually seen it in Paris. There was a big thing on the side of the Australian embassy that had Michael Hooper, and he wasn't even picked in the squad. And you're like, okay, that's like you've spent millions advertising stuff, and you have someone on your poster that wasn't even picked.
That was amazing that he didn't have the right attitude or something. Eddie said.
Yeah, it's Eddie Jones. You look at Eddie Jones wrong, you don't have the right attitude. No, Eddie Jones was there. Eddie Jones was trying to. Eddie Jones, that to me, and this is only a personal opinion, Eddie Jones was being narcissistic. It was his way or no way, and what I say goes, and I done this, and this is what I'm saying, and not looking at the quality of the squad. Now, the people he picked, like he had 110. He like Carter Gordon was like a bit okay. He made that about himself more than he made it about Rugby Australia and about the fans. That's again my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion, not the opinion.
I'd agree with you. I'd agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. Mike Reedy.
Well, it's a very, very difficult job, by the way, a seriously difficult job. Just like what Claire said, rugby is struggling in Australia. In fact, sport is struggling a little bit in Australia at the moment. And I mean, they've just turned down. 2 cities had been awarded the Commonwealth Games, and they've both knocked it back. Now they had agreed to it, and now they've knocked it back for financial reasons. So going forward, if anybody can do it, Joe Schmidt's the man, right? I would say. I think he's credibility. It could, however, fucking ruin him. Could ruin his credibility.
Well, I mean, he's
not able to turn it around.
But they have the players, Mike. If Joe goes there, like you walk into that dressing room, like he has the players. He has quality players in that team. You know.
No, if it can be done, Joe Schmidt will do it. He's a quality guy. He's a good lad, but it's a big task. And as like what Claire said as well, 2027 World Cup is there, and they won't be expecting. They'll be wanting some level of success to go with that.
Yeah. They want to get out of their group at least.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Let me just see here. Sorry, folks, just some comments there. Let's put that one up. Australia have a fantastic young squad. If Joe goes in, he realistically has 3 years. Once he wins a couple of games, the public will get behind him. The Aussies like nothing more than a World Cup, no matter the sport. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing, Peter, just one point. When Claire was saying about Eddie's narcissism, I was listening to what she was saying, and I was going, Jesus, I wonder, does that sound familiar to Ulster supporters? You know, that literally it's his way or the highway. Because I think at this stage now, he is in danger of going full Eddie Jones.
Yeah, he's got to go. I've said it.
Well, as you know, Dara, we've spoken about Dan McFarland the last 2 shows. You know whether this will be his last season. And we get to that. Hold on, we'll get to Ulster in a minute. Mike Reedy, I'm coming to you first on this. The games last weekend, round 1 of the Heineken Cup. I'm not calling it the Investec Champions Cup. It's just fucking too bollocky.
It's still the Heineken Cup. I seen the ad. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's always the Heineken Cup. Anyway, Mike Reedy, Connacht were entertaining Bordeaux, and they were soundly beaten. 5 points to Bordeaux 41. Did you see that game, Mike?
I didn't see the game now, so I can't really. Haven't got much to say about it. I'm disappointed for Connacht, obviously, and
they were shite.
I'll be honest. I didn't fancy their chances. But you know, you're always hopeful in Galway, you know.
I think I did. I think I tipped them. I think I did.
I might have tipped them myself, but just out of duty, maybe, or out of a sense of an Irish team.
Blind Irish loyalty to an Irish team.
This is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I
might have lived in the country for 37 years, but I'm still fucking loyal.
You're still. I know. Dara Weston, Connacht, soundly beaten by an impressive, has to be said, an impressive Bordeaux team. What did you make of it?
It was a very impressive Bordeaux team. When you look at the likes of Pino they had, and you know your man, the other winger as well. Jesus, I mean they had the pace.
What's his name? What's the winger's name?
I think it's a short name.
I'll look him up. You talk. I'll look him up.
The speed they had. was just like Bordeaux came out of the traps like the Greyhounds at the sports grounds, and I think they were just it was too much. I mean, the amount of internationals Bordeaux had, I saw something earlier on, and the other day there was an interview with John Smith, and he was saying a lot of the French teams like Racing, probably Bordeaux, Toulouse, Toulon, they're becoming like Babas teams because they've so many internationals on them. It's like the old days when Toulon had Wilkinson and the others. So I think the French teams are going to be very strong this year. And certainly helping losing Hansen as well to injury. That's a double blow for them now. So,
of course, they did as well. Now.
Uberti, Dara. Uberti.
Okay. So,
Uberti, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably one of the worst performances, worst Connacht performance I've seen at home in quite a while.
I was at my Christmas.
Sorry, Claire. Yeah, go on, Claire. Yep.
I was at my Christmas party and it was on this. Somehow it magically appeared on the telly that happened to be beside us. I wonder how that happened. And even AFOC is in. AFOC is in. It still didn't get any better. I was like, maybe if I drink another one, it might get better. And every time I looked, it was like, if I have another vodka, maybe they might score. And every time I had a vodka, Bordeaux scored. So we kept having the vodkas.
There was an interesting one from James Grennan regarding Bundy Aki's. He put up a caption. I think it might have been on a Connacht page, and he had a picture of a lion and a lamb. Bundy Aki, the lion was.
He put it up in our group. He put it up. Yeah.
Did he put it
up in our group? And he was. Yeah, and a few people slated him.
I thought he was fairly on the ball. To be honest, I thought he was fairly on the ball. I don't think it was an unreasonable. I thought it was a reasonable comparison.
The whole. Well, it was. If you're just talking about a game, it was his first game back, and people were criticizing James for, everyone was worshiping in him in the World Cup, and his first game back, and he doesn't have a great game, and he didn't have a great game. In fairness to him, he didn't have a great game. So, just you say what you see. You play your 80 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever, and then you comment on that. So, Bundy didn't have a good game, so he was right, So anyway, there we go. Right, second game. Bath, Claire, I'll come to you first on this, and we go around that way. Bath beat Ulster. Bath looked bloody good, beating Ulster 37-14. Did you see that one, Claire, or were you hungover?
I was slightly hungover, but I seen bits of it. Bath looked impressive. Bath did look impressive. Ulster looked like they were going backwards. Every so often there was a kick. And I go, right, Ulster are going to kick in here, and then it just died. Died, and Bath came back. Premiership teams last week, even Dominic said to me, what's happening with the Premiership? They're actually winning stuff. Like, the Premiership teams all played very well last week.
I think 6 out of 7 of them won their games, Claire, I think.
Even Northampton Saints won. Whoa. That's saying
Exeter
something.
beaten Toulon.
Exeter
beat by a point.
Yeah, Exeter beat Toulon with the kick. Yeah, with the kick.
17-16 or something like that.
There's a comment. There's a comment. You will go. Finn played good.
Fuck off. Right, Dara Weston, Bath 37, Ulster 14. Did you see that game?
I did. I must say, like Claire said, I know they're top of the Premiership. But you kind of think, but like it's not really much, it's Gallagher Premiership. Like it hasn't been much for a while now. But Jesus, they really played well. There was their number 8 Barbary Youngfla. Jesus, he had an amazing game.
Yeah.
But like I was looking afterwards. It was 6 years since they'd won their last Heineken match. So
wow.
They had a big run of So
well, okay.
Now,
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
They haven't been in it, to be fair, in all of those 6 years.
That's it. It's been it's
that's a fucking shite stat then, Jared. You know what I mean? Like if they're not in the fucking competition, how the fuck are they going to win a game?
I think what the point he's trying to make is they weren't good enough to be there. Now they are.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, 6 years of the tournament that they were in it. But no, it was very good performance by them. Billy Burns now was quite good. So, but yeah, I thought I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they progress.
Who have they next?
Now I have to say, I know I was smart there when someone commented about Finn Russell. Yes, he did. In fairness to Finn Russell, he had a good game last week.
Oh my God! We have this on video. He complimented him.
It's on video. It's on video. Look, I know it's lagging, but he did.
He had a good
game on
45 minutes, 20 seconds.
No, it wasn't a million quid.
Video. Put it in the vault.
But like the first game of the pool stages, once you get past quarterfinals, then they'll have shite games.
Yeah.
Ulster done the old Ulster thing again. I'm afraid. I'm afraid their season.
Go on, Mike.
We were all hoping the Ulster season might start against Bath, and it didn't. It flattered to deceive again once again. Bath are a good outfit, by the way. They're probably going to win that premiership. Well, they're going to have a good chance anyway. Probably. And I think they possibly will be the strongest English team in the Heineken Cup as well, or whatever it's called these days. I'm seriously no concern for Ulster. I think they're going backwards almost every game now. So can they raise it for the next one? Who knows?
I think they need a reset, Mike. Which I
they
think
definitely need to. They definitely do. 100% they do. It's a concern. It has to be a concern. I mean, I'm not an out-and-out Ulster supporter. I support them because they're an Irish team, and I want them to do well. However, they're not doing well, and they don't even look like they're going to do well. They don't. There's no game plan. There's nothing. They're not bringing anything to the table that's inspiring anybody. So I mean, even their own supporters now are all they're not turning on them, but
I know what you mean. They're losing faith, or whatever whatever phrase you want to use there.
I actually just talking about losing faith. I see there was a comment on my Facebook page that I made 8 years ago. Another way it pops up memories. Pop up memories. My comment, I think it was 8 or 9 years ago, were Leinster are seriously a team on the decline. And that was like that was 9 years ago, and I remember typing that and writing it and feeling that way. And I was looking at it this morning, laughing, going, "Look at the okay." At the time, it killed you, and it does. But if you love the team, you're there through the good times and through the bad times. I sat through Matt O'Connor. I was
just going to say Matt O'Connor. Yeah,
I sat through that, and I think that's what I was talking about. In that I sat through Matt O'Connor in the RDS when there was minimal people there, and it was like we couldn't kick snow off a rope. I sat through Irish rugby before Joe Schmidt. That was just like, it was a bit like people used to say to me, "Are you for real?" Now people's like, "Oh yeah, you supported from the start," but it is tough when your team is on the decline. It is tough.
Of course it is, yeah.
Everything that goes down has to come back up unless you go bankrupt.
Yeah, true. Okay, there's a comment in there. The French teams with their glittering array of players are fantastic going forward with the ball in hand. Not so good when it gets tight and the weather is crap. That's when club and the local boys' togetherness mentally kicks in.
That's Ger Brennan.
Ger Brennan's comment. Good man, Ger. Yeah. How are you, Ger? Good evening. How are you, Megan? Good evening to you as well. Sorry, I meant to say hello to Megan there.
Megan, yeah.
Let me just see here now.
I know that's David Phillips. I was impressed by the Harlequins. Harlequins were actually very good. Marcus Smith was actually good as well. Yeah, Quins were.
I didn't see about that actually. Yeah.
Quins are my you always have a team in another division. Quins are my Premiership team. Quins are I do like Quins. Yeah.
Okay, we were a bit dismissive of Premiership teams when suggestions of a league amalgamation was mentioned. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, we were. Again, that's where Brennan was.
To be fair, and
they were talking about URC with the Premiership, because you know the way all the teams in the Premiership are
Oh
are
yeah.
the money they're
Okay,
talking about
someone
amalgamating.
has. Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't think we
Someone
were
has.
wrong at the time when we made those comments. To be fair, I think we were justified at that
Someone
time.
has forgiven me. Someone has forgiven me. I presume that's from Russell.
Yeah, okay. So this Gregor Galway, just can I make this comment, Gregor? Can I just
go on.
shout out? Can I just shout out? Rest in peace, Sid Reid, Lions, Oregon, and Ulster legend died on Sunday. Rest in peace.
Saw that.
Rest in peace.
And also Tyke Furlong's dad, James.
Father, yes.
While we're on the subject,
It is,
I was going to mention that towards the end, but anyway, it's topical there. Okay, next game. Let's just fly through these because we are 10 minutes left. Munster versus Bayonne. Now, in fairness, I had Bayonne written off before this this game kicked off. I think last week I got one prediction wrong, which was the Munster Bayonne game. I said Munster would win that. Claire, did you see that game?
Yeah, I did. Atrocious weather, and Munster lost that. Bayonne didn't win that. Munster lost that. I don't know how it went. You know what I mean? And fair play to Crowley trying for the drop goal, but it turns out he hadn't got a boot on him.
That's right, I saw that. Yeah.
See that picture? Yeah, fair play to him going for it. But
so would you not give Bayonne any credit for?
Oh, I give them. No, give them credit. They never gave up. They actually never gave up. I mean, like I think everyone, bar the Bayonne fans, had Bayonne roll off in that game.
But they had some defence, Claire.
Yeah, they played very well going into the fortress what they call the Fortress of Thomond, which seems to be dropping slowly but surely.
But I thought Munster were, we talk about this that teams playing for 80 minutes. I thought Munster played for
79. 40.
I think 40, 50. I'd give them 40, 50 minutes on that game. Yeah.
Are we going to say the infamous? It was a game of two halves. They played the first half and then kind of didn't play the second half.
No, but they did though. They played okay in the first half. I mean, it was 14-3 at half time. Someone's put up there. I forgot what score was at
14-3 at half time, and then the scores reversed. If you only score 3 points in a Champions Cup game in the second half, you have to look at your team.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I mean. So that they were shite in the second half.
And that's a familiar thing. Were we not saying last season about Munster, when you play a second half of rugby and you don't score a point, you need to start looking at your team? And it seems to be slowly creeping in again.
Yeah. Right. Dara Weston, Munster v Bayonne.
So another useless stat for you. Bayonne never lost a match in the Heineken Cup because that was their first match. They've always only the challenge.
Like it.
But I mean, look, it was a dirty night. McCarthy had a great try, but then Munster they let in a shocking try through the maul again. I mean, that's obviously Roundtree's not going to be happy about that. I didn't spot that Crowley had lost a boot at the end. Because I was looking and going, why is he going for the drop goal with the weather the way it is? But obviously there was nothing else on for him. There was not much point in keeping the ball alive and risking it.
They were going backwards, Dara, at that stage. They were crabbing across the pitch.
The danger was, that they concede another try or something. So, look, I suppose they got out of it with a draw. It's...
but they were bad in the second half, though, Dara.
Yeah.
In fairness.
Geez, definitely, yeah. No, it was... it wasn't champagne rugby. And Thomond wasn't full either. There was large empty sections of the stand in Thomond. So I don't know whether people are waiting for the Stevens' Day match against Leinster or what. They're away this weekend, aren't they? Yeah, they are.
Munster, yes, they're away.
Has rugby become very expensive to attend in Ireland? I haven't been to a game now in a while.
It depends where you want. I normally go, if I'm going to the RDS, I normally go to the north or south stand. Tickets are, what they declare, 25, 30 quid, something like that?
Well, they're actually 40. They're 40 quid now. They're looking for 40 quid for the games now, for north or south stand.
Expensive then.
I'm a season ticket holder. And I get all me home URC games. Yes. It's cheaper. I get all me URC home games, and I get the Champions Cup qualifier games, and my season ticket is 315 quid. Now it's the South Stand, but it's not bad value when you take it into. And then with that, I also get the option if they get to quarterfinals and semi-finals, I can have an option to buy them. I also have an option to go into a lottery for Six Nations tickets and stuff. So the value for.
But but I was just going to say, Claire, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But you get great value out of your season ticket because you go to, if you're not in the RDS for every home game, you're there. Jesus, every second weekend you're there.
Yeah, no, but unless something serious, I missed the Leinster Toulouse game last year in the Aviva because I was at the ladies' game in.
That's right.
Scotland. That was it. I missed one Leinster Munster game many years ago because my grand nephew got christened. Only time I ever missed a Leinster Munster game in the Aviva. So I do go to the majority of them unless
you guys were a lot. Yeah, you guys were a lot. Yeah. Okay, Mike Reedy, your team Munster drawn with Bayonne. What do you think?
It wasn't a great result for Munster, really. You know, I think they expected, and we all expected them to win that game. But like you said, Peter, I think you have to give credit to Bayonne. I thought they played very, very well. They played good rugby. They weren't just there for the fucking make up the numbers. They were there to do a job, and they've done a job. And Munster, I think they took Munster by fucking surprise, to be honest. I don't think they expected that. And they didn't front up. Munster didn't front up even physically. So, and to get the conditions played a part, but it was the same conditions for both teams. So you can't blame that. You know, it wasn't the worst result in the end. At least they came out with points. But you expect to win your home games to progress in the Heineken Cup.
Very true. Very true.
Conditions in La Rochelle were just as bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're coming to that. Will you fucking hold on?
But
no, I'm just saying if you're comparing conditions, the conditions in La Rochelle were just as bad as they were in Munster, if not worse.
Yeah. But I mean, Bayonne were perceived to be the weaker team in the group, and you're expected to win. They've made a difficult task for themselves. No, Munster have. Yeah. So let's see where it goes from there.
Yeah, true. Right, Dara Weston, the last game, La Rochelle entertaining Leinster in horrendous conditions. Leinster finally getting that monkey off their back and beating La Rochelle 16 points to 9. With the most memorable part of the game is probably Frawley's kick at the dying seconds of that game. What did you reckon? What did you make of that?
Fantastic game. Absolutely. Well, fantastic game in atrocious conditions. The first 10 minutes were really frantic. Some great defense. Frawley had a great game. Larmer had a great game. Yep. James Ryan. I mean, nearly everybody on the pitch had a great game for Leinster. They all played really well. It was one of those great travelling games. And then the Frawley's penalty at the end. 60 meters. Okay, it was a bit wind assisted, but still, like, cracking.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? What
only disappointment was we didn't get a bonus point. It's the only thing you could fault it.
I was going to say to you, Dara. Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you've just said there. One of the key elements. Excuse me. Oh, a bit of wind. One of the key elements to that game was the negation of the Skelton effect.
Yeah,
he was marked off the park by the back row, and he was given very little room to run. Normally, as we all know, Skelton running ball in hand, he's two men to take him down. He's line breaks all over the shop all day long, but he just didn't do it, wasn't allowed to do it on last Saturday. Did you notice that?
He's their European talisman.
Absolutely.
I liken him to Nathan Hines or Rocky Elsom for us. You know, he's the imported player who's just an absolute workhorse and their talisman. So if you can keep him in his box, then it just demoralizes them. It was a great game. Okay, and even sweeter seeing Rog up in the stands with the big sad face on him.
Yeah,
very true. Yeah. Fair, Jemmy. thoughts, the Leinster match?
Yeah, brilliant. In fairness, I'm going to say, and I'm sorry to, I thought when we got that penalty, I was like, he's going to take it, and I was like, he's not going to get, and I did. He's not going to get this. He's taking this so we can count down the 90 seconds. Genuine, and I was going, fuck! It actually went over. Like I had to like rewind it to make sure. Some boot on him. One thing I will say, I don't think the co-captain's thing is working.
No,
because they were pulled on it again. So like you have a captain and then you have a pack leader or whatever it is. You don't have the two of them because they were pulled on it again at the weekend. So
didn't the ref? Sorry, Claire. Didn't the ref say something to James Ryan about that?
He refused to talk to him. He said, "I refuse to have contact with him. I can't speak to you."
Yeah, can't speak to you, and then told him to go away. Go away.
Yeah.
So it's not working. So because in fairness, that's 2 or 3 matches that they've got pinged on that. You know what I mean? So great match, atrocious weather, great match. As I said, the unity there and they all played right. So Harry Bourne, I had a bet with my boss actually that Harry Bourne was going to play better than Froggy. Turns out he didn't. Yes. I don't know what I bet him because there was a couple of vodkas in when I put that bet on.
That's right.
So and onwards and upwards and RDS this weekend and hopefully.
That's right, yeah. Jack Conan's back, Claire. Jack Conan's back. He's available. He's available.
And I heard the lady on the radio today called them Sal. It's the Sal Sharks.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Geez.
I was screaming at the radio, going, "It's Sale! No, it's the Sal Sharks." So I was like, "Yeah, when you're going to talk to me, yeah, no,
right,
great game."
We're over the hour mark. We just fly through. Mike, just give us your brief opinion on Leinster, La Rochelle, and then we fly through the games.
Really impressed with Leinster. That's 100%. And I think what Frawley did, that kick cements his place in any team because he has proven he's brought something that no Irish player has ever been able to do, score points from your own half. We've never had a player, I'm going back 50 years, we've never had a player who could kick a penalty from our own half. And we had him briefly on the show, Hugo McNeil. When did he ever? He never done it. Never kicked a penalty from our own half. I saw every game Hugo McNeil ever played, and I don't ever remember.
He did it against Wales in 80s.
I think he took a drop goal from.
I don't know. I was you're saying 80s, I was the baby.
Yeah, right, okay.
Rob Kearney had a big enough boot, but he didn't do it. He didn't take penalties. But Frawley is the man. Listen, James Ryan was like a man possessed in that game, and that's why he was. No, and I thought the game was completely getting out of hand, and there was a nasty element to the game, but Leinster fronted him up big time. I mean, you go back to the Heineken Cup final, and the difference is night and day. And James Ryan stayed on the pitch. Maybe that was the difference. But he was like a man possessed, by the way, and he went into every tackle. He
did.
And
right, listen. Sorry, Mike. We're over the hour mark.
Absolutely fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. Someone asked there, did Bryce Doolan get man of the match? He did indeed. Yes. La Rochelle are no good without Aldrich and with Raj banned from the line. Someone there taking the
but in fairness,
off.
Hurricane gone behind him. Just a comment on Frawley, and someone said to me they put a bit of Mornay Stain into him. They put a bit of the Stain brothers into him with the boot.
Like that. Yeah. Right, Dara Weston, games coming up next weekend. Brief because we're way over time. Who do you think will win? We have Saracens are entertaining Connacht.
It's going to be a tough one. I would say the heart says Connacht, but the head says Sarries. Sarries lost against the Bulls, didn't they, at the weekend? Yeah, but they still had a fairly good game. So you would hope Connacht can bounce back.
And they're at home, Dara.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I think Sarries might edge it. I don't think by much, though. I think there'll be less than a score in it.
There's someone directly contradicting you there now, Dara.
Sarries by a lot.
Sarries by a lot. Right. Okay, Claire. Saracens v Connacht. Quickly.
Sarries. Sarries.
You saying sorry or Saracens?
Saracens. Sarries.
Oh,
Saracens.
Saracens. Okay, Mike Reedy, Saracens against Connacht.
I'm saying Saracens.
I'd love to see Connacht, but I can't
They won't.
see anything other than Saracens winning it fairly convincingly, to be honest. It's a
Saracens
shame.
Saracens by 10 plus points, I'd say anyway. Right, Mike, back to you. And we're taking these in order of them happening. Leinster are entertaining Sale or Sal.
Ooh,
That's
a big game, by the way. That's a big game. That's at the RDS.
It is?
Yeah. 5:30 kickoff. I shall be there.
Say, I mean, I can't look beyond Leinster winning it, but you know, it won't be easy. I don't think there'll be a lot in that either. I don't think there'll be a lot in it, but I think Leinster by 7 or 8 points.
Okay, Dara.
I would think Leinster. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think we'll get a bonus point. Sale are coming off a win against Stade Francais, but Stade Francais had changed 11 players from their usual top 14 squad. So I think it was a weakened Stade Francais squad. So I think that score flattered Sale. Okay. So I'm hoping we'll get a bonus point and maybe, 10 points in it. Maybe win by 10 points.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Dara. Claire.
Leinster.
By Leinster. Much? By score?
Yeah, we'll get bonus point win. I reckon we'll win by 12 to 15.
Okay, grand job. Claire, back to you. Ulster are entertaining Racing.
Are they playing at home or it doesn't really matter? Racing. I think Racing.
Yeah.
I think
Ulster at home.
I genuinely think Racing.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Dara. Ulster v Racing.
Yeah, I think Racing as well. I mean, Racing had a fantastic game against Harlequins. Narrowly lost. There has to be some element of demoralization creeping into the Ulster team at the moment. So yeah. I think it's going to be hard for them. I think Racing will do it.
Yeah, I would.
Assuming they travel with the full squad and they don't leave some of their stars at home.
I'd say they bring as many as they can now, Dara.
Yeah.
Round two of the Heineken Cup, Yeah, I agree with you, Dara. I agree with you as well, Claire. Mike Reedy, Ulster v Racing.
Unfortunately, again, I don't. I mean, even though it's Ulster at home, God, can they get their season kicked off this week? Who knows? I can only see a Racing. I'm sorry for Ulster, but I can't see him doing it again.
I have to get a new coach in before the match.
Fucking need one.
Might change
Eddie Jones wouldn't do any worse.
Exactly. Get Eddie Jones in for the weekend. Right, Mike, back to you and our last one, and then we must wrap it up. Exeter are entertaining Munster.
Oh wow!
Mm.
Because Munster are going to have to up their fucking game from last weekend. I'll tell you that, big time.
Yes.
Oh, Exeter!
And I have to go for Munster, but I'm without conviction.
Right.
So
you're just basically saying Munster because you're a Munster supporter. You're not putting any rhyme or reason into this.
I want Munster to win. I want fucking all the Irish teams to win.
I know you fucking do. But, okay.
Right.
He has the fence. Let him sit in it.
Yeah. Take the fucking splinters out of your hole there, Reedy.
Usually you both sitting on the fence.
No,
I don't normally sit on the fence. Dara, Exeter entertaining Munster.
Munster need to have some of the fight that supporter had, and get a bit of the passion. I mean, you would hope Munster would win because for European royalty like Munster, they're like a Duke or an Earl or something. Obviously, we're the kings of Europe. For them to not get a win out of the first two games in Europe would be practically unheard of. So you would hope the lads are getting beasted around the park by round three, and they'll come out fighting, get something out of it.
Right. Okay. Claire Devney.
I'm actually going to. After watching Exeter and Munster last week. Exeter won it with the gas kick, and Munster lost it with. I'm edging slightly towards Exeter. Hopefully I'm wrong, but slightly edging towards Exeter.
Okay, right. I'm going for 3 home wins. Excuse me. Saracens, Leinster, and Exeter, and I think Racing will fucking annihilate Ulster. There you go. My thoughts on it. Right, folks. That's it. We're way over time.
As usual.
As usual, yes. Because
actually, one last thing for Sarah Duffy. Kinghorn
on
scored 2 tries in his first appearance for Toulouse against Cardiff. I know she'll be monitoring how he's doing.
There you are, Sarah Duffy. There you are.
And
All right.
Kitsoff needs to turn up in Ulster.
Let's
Right,
hope they
there we
don't
go.
play each other.
Okay. Why is that coming after coming up here? Get away with you. Jesus Christ.
What are you trying
Right,
to do?
folks. I don't know what I'm after doing. Something's after popping up there. Get away. I don't know.
Thanks.
Anyway, look, all that's left for me to do is to thank Mike Reedy, Dara Weston, and Claire Devaney for joining me. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed your questions and talking about all the subjects that we spoke about. We will see you again next week at the usual time, 8:30, here in the group and on YouTube from 8:30. Sorry, Claire, go on.
Say if I don't, because I am going on my hollybops for Christmas. If I don't see you, if I'm not on the group, everyone have a great Christmas and a good New Year.
Enjoy, Claire. I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy, folks. Thank you. Cheers. Good luck.
Thanks ever so much, guys.